Hello and welcome back to TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com. I am Peter Worski, the Toronto website developer specializing in Drupal. In this 10th video tutorial of our 10-part video tutorial series on the Drupal Commerce module, I want to show you how we can use Kickstart to get our site up and running in no time. So if you're not familiar with Commerce Kickstart, essentially what it is an installation profile for Drupal. By that I mean it provides a custom configuration out of the box for Drupal that's specifically geared towards commerce sites. Now, you may be wondering why I'm showing you this as the last video tutorial, and that's because I wanted you to have an understanding of how commerce works, how you can use it yourself to pre-configure things, rather than just take the end solution and plug it in there. That's fine if you just got one site you need to build, but if you're going to be building multiple commerce sites, you should really know how the system works. So, that said, over at TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com/store, here you can purchase my video tutorial series as I develop them. This one will be up for sale soon. Each is $20, and again, each sale goes towards helping me to continue to develop these free and frequently. Each sale I greatly appreciate. There have been a number that have purchased recently, and so thank you very much for that. If you'd like to support the video tutorials but you can't afford the $20, just leave a thumbs up, leave a comment on YouTube, both greatly appreciated. It helps me because YouTube uses those to decide which videos to promote, what's popular and whatnot. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And if you haven't already subscribed to the tutorial, or rather to my channel, please go ahead and do that. Lastly, just a quick favor, if you have a question, please use the Drupal, or rather use the YouTube comments. It's a lot easier for me to reply there, and everyone benefits from it. If you try to email me directly, chances are I won't have time to get back to you. And it's also not fair because it's a one-on-one communication, and sometimes I get repeated questions. So if you use those comments, it really helps me, and then you're more likely to get a response. Let's head over to drupal.org/project/commerce_kickstart. You'll notice here this is actually a distribution, not a module or a theme. So if you scroll down, I'm using 7.x 2.19. And so as I mentioned, or maybe I didn't, this is the most popular Drupal distribution. It's not that old, but it's quickly taken over first place. And so that's 13,000 sites reporting using it, but 409,000 downloads, which is massive. So if you're going to go ahead and grab these files, when you get them, the reason why they're so big is because they actually come with Drupal. So you would download that, put it into your web root directory, and then you'll have actually Drupal there, and you can go ahead and get to the site install right from it. Now, the alternative to that is to use Drush, and so that's what I did. You'll see I've got some stuff I was doing here as well. But if I scroll up, you'll see I downloaded Drupal first. You're going to have to do that because when you use Drush to download Kickstart, it doesn't come with Drupal. So grab Drupal, rename to the directory, get into the directory, and then do a Drush DL Kickstart or commerce_Kickstart, and you'll see it'll actually download 240 modules, 9 themes, and 1 profile. And from there, if you actually look at the directory structure, so let me go up here because I was getting things set up. Go into profiles from your root, ls, you'll see that you actually have Commerce Kickstart now. So that's what that's all about. Now, when you go and navigate to your site, so here you notice I'm using localhost and I've called it Kick3. It's going to take me to install.php, and it's going to show me a Commerce Kickstart installation profile screen. And so you're going to have to agree to the user agreement as well as the privacy policy. So let's get started. It's going to verify your requirements, but that should pass briefly in the back end, and you shouldn't even notice it unless you have something to fix. So next, this is a typical Drupal screen. I'm just going to go ahead and get this set up. What am I doing here? And save and continue. Hopefully that's right. So with those database credentials, it's then going to go ahead and start installing Commerce Kickstart 2. And so it has about 110 modules it's going to install by default, which takes a while. Now, while that's installing, once we get down to configure site or configure store or something like that, might be configure store, you have the option to install a demo site, so you can actually play around with Kickstart, see what it can offer you, or install your basic site. If you're actually going to be developing your site itself, don't install the demo site. It's not a good idea to use that and then work off of it. Install it fresh, and then you'll see that there's options for you to pull in some of the stuff that you like from the default store. So let's take a look at the default store. This is it. You'll notice right up front that they have a nice product display, different areas. They actually have blogging turned on, and they have some nice CSS so you can actually highlight over what you're looking at. That's all stuff that you can go and copy. You might have to be a little bit more technical to do it, but it is there. Additionally, you notice that these are all views, so you can click on the gear and you can actually edit the view. The nice thing about having views is you can actually drop down and export the view and then import it to your site when you're using it. There's something specifically that you want that you don't find when you're doing the fresh install yourself. That said, a couple things I want to draw your attention to that are different from what we did in our video tutorial series. First, this menu up at the top is going to be different. It's thrown me for a couple loops. Luckily, this is the second time I'm recording this, because in the other recordings I would have looked like a moron not knowing where I was going. That's because a lot of the menu links that you use most often are kind of right up front. The other ones are buried that you don't really use and that just kind of take up real estate. So this is a streamlined menu. I think it's actually a module that they use. And so you'll notice the blocks, views, and all that kind of stuff here. But then the structure is actually kind of condensed, and the configuration, you don't see it kind of up here. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to draw your attention to is discounts. So we used Commerce Coupon. I think they're using Commerce Discounts or something or other. But anyways, very similar. You can go ahead, add a discount. You're going to get a similar screen as Commerce Coupon. You're going to add a title, an actual name to display to people, what type of discount you're providing, order or product, and then you can actually set it to what you're going to be discounting itself. You can add conditions and then the amount that you're actually going to provide. So the nice thing is you don't have to get into the rule side of things. It's all right up front here, and you can actually provide some dates, and then you have the actual active disabled settings here as well. And you can see on the settings, what this allows you to do is choose the line item that you're going to be using. Something we talked about before. Typically, you're just going to apply the discount to product, unless you know you're providing shipping discounts or something. Another quick note, you can see out of the box they're using the overlay module, which comes with Drupal core. It kind of drives me crazy, so I typically disable it. That's why you haven't seen it up until now. But yeah, anyways. Next thing I was going to show you is product settings. We were talking about product types. They've actually named them variation types. It's the same thing. So you can see all the different product variations that they have here. You can add another one if you want one. And you can see you get the defaults. You can automatically generate SKUs and whatnot, and add your fields and all this kind of stuff. And so this is kind of a nice thing right here, is you can add the matching product display. So you remember it was like a 3-step process before for us. Now that's a checkbox and you're good to go. You have the product display set up for you. So that's kind of sweet that they do that. When you're actually looking for that, you're going to go under content. You can see content types here. And so here are the different product displays that they have. So blog posts, drinks, hats, shoes, and whatnot. The slideshow is pretty cool. This is a checkbox that you can enable to have on yours. What it allows you to do is we're going to actually go ahead and create this because I wanted to show it to you. So we'll add some content here. I'm just going to go ahead and add a slideshow. It's an actual node type. And so I'm just going to put Susie in here, and Sue's lounging, right? And then I want to have all this filled in so you can see it. Enjoying life, and then I'm just going to choose a Susie image that I have. We'll go ahead and we'll save that. I'm going to add a second one as well, so I can go to content. I'm just going to add content. I'm going to choose slideshow, and then Bailey extreme close-up. Well, hopefully someone has seen Wayne's World. I hope that doesn't date me. So we'll go ahead and we'll save this now. Now if I go back to my front page, what's kind of cool is once the images actually load, you can see that it has this nice slideshow right up at the front. It's actually a view, and it's coming from one of the modules. And so the view, and then you place the block where you want it, and you can see the kind of the stuff down here. And what this is actually going to do is it's going to cycle, and it's going to highlight which tagline you're on. So you can see that they go. I only have 2, so that's why you see them duplicated. But you can actually go in here, look at the gear, edit the view, and you can see that the display name is HP Slideshow, and it's an HTML list. Yeah, I'm assuming, I haven't actually looked at it. I'm assuming it's just done with the module itself and some TPL files or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter unless you want to get into nitty gritty. If you do, let me know and we can take a look at that in a video tutorial. But if you go over to modules here, you'll see that what actually provides it is this nice custom module that they have in Commerce Kickstart. And if you scroll way down here, you're going to see Commerce Kickstart Slideshow. So one of the cool things that Commerce Kickstart does is it has a bunch of modules that they've actually developed specifically for commerce and doing a commerce store. And so these themselves are available on GitHub, so you could go ahead and grab these or just grab the installation profile and use them. But they come with Kickstart itself. And then you've got a bunch of other modules that they've gone ahead and grabbed, some of which they set up, some of which they don't. For example, like you can look at Bean. They don't have it set up, but you can actually use it and start getting, you know, some crazy scalability and whatnot, because when you go down to performance, and you can see that it starts using Bean Entity Cache, Cloud Zoom, all this kind of stuff. What this is nice for is you go to the home page, at least I think it's this one. We'll click on this bottle, and you can start zooming in on what you're actually looking at. And so that's kind of a nice thing right out of the box. And you can go to the different images and see what's going on. And so all of this is available when we go ahead and we install our site. I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I wanted to show you from the default store. Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and we can take a look. So here now, this is a fresh installation. This screen you didn't see, but it would have come up if we did the demo store. You get this nice get started, and they have a nice YouTube video on actually, you know, creating discounts and all that kind of stuff. But down here, you can see how you create a coupon, create a product, variation, all these types of things, all of which we've talked about. So you should have an understanding of what you're doing. And then you can just have the quick links to go ahead and add product, manage products, all that kind of stuff. So this is it right out of the box. This is a fresh installation for you. What I did is when we go to configure site here, we just go ahead and we can save and continue. You'll notice here what I did is I did not want to install the demo store, and so I get a bunch of configuration I can do. I allowed anonymous users. I asked for the additional blocks. I chose the front page. Slideshow. I did not want the custom admin. It kind of drove me nuts. You could always do that. I added the blog functionality and the social logins, I think, and the Zoom gallery for products, just because I wanted you to see them. And so I went ahead and created and finished. And then that kicked off a whole bunch of other modules that had to be installed. I think approximately 30. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad. Now you can see right here, we've got the nice slideshow. Again, you can edit the view and actually take a look at what's going on. Exact same as before. And if you go up to content, now you're going to have the familiar menu that I had. When we look at content, you can see they've created a bunch of slideshow pages, some basic pages, all of which that you can actually either edit or go ahead and replace, right? So you don't want to keep their slideshows and that kind of thing. But I mean, that's pretty much it. When you're looking at some of the terms that they've created, because we've already done that, you just go into structure, taxonomy, and you'll see they've got blog category, product category, tags. And you can list the terms and actually go ahead and remove these. But it gives you an idea of where they're actually going to be laid out, so you can see your different categories and whatnot. And the big thing that you're going to want to take a look at is mainly your views, and you're going to want to take a look at your blocks. So when you take a look at what's going on here, you can see main page content, but here's your slideshow. You can see the connector, you know, your shopping cart, all that kind of stuff. And then if you're using faceted search, which I think is enabled out of the box with this guy, you'll have that there as well. But there's a whole bunch more that you can do. So that's pretty much it. I mean, hopefully there's no major questions. If you have any, please just leave a comment. Kickstart just allows you to kind of get your site up there and out there right away. You're going to do the exact same thing as, you know, what we've looked at. You're going to go to store, and you're going to have to go to configuration, and then you're going to set up how you're actually going to configure your payment methods, your currency, and then obviously there's some other stuff that you can play with, like Commerce Search API. I don't think I've actually played with that, but yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Hopefully this helps. This concludes the video tutorial series. So we kind of went start to finish. You should have a well-rounded knowledge of Drupal commerce. And as always, if you have any questions, leave a comment on the video. Really appreciate you watching. And if it helped you, leave a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I love hearing back from users. Thanks very much.